So there was something that you told me to definitely not remind you about.
Right. So I've got two stories that happened today. One of them is a client, and one of them is my mom. Which would you like to hear first? And the story about my mom is not the usual type of story I tell. This is a different kind of story.
Oh, well, that's no fun. I was about to say your mother, but now.
I mean, it's still a story. And the story I'm
Uh,
going to tell about my mom feels like a bit that a stand-up comedian would do. Like, it's
oh boy.
kind of surreal now that I think about it.
Oh boy. Because
I even had this.
because I know your mother. Well, I don't know your mother and don't know your mother, but
I
yeah.
even had like the bullshit like witty remark after the end of it to be like, and then I was like, oh my god, this is like a stand-up comedian bit.
Well,
Iced up
you've
the
already
details a little
prefaced it.
bit.
Yeah. Well, you've already got it going, so
Okay,
let's go. Your mother.
so we'll lead with that. So I'm at work today, seeing clients, doing my thing, and I get this text. Like I notice I've got a text from my mom, and she was like, or the text says, we had a death in the family today. And I'm like, I didn't know anybody was sick. Is this going to be a COVID thing? Like, so I text her back, who died? What's going on? Who died? And she said, actually, it was two. It was Darlene and the baby. And she was pregnant, died during childbirth. Baby also was dead. It's really sad. Me and your dad are really devastated. So I don't text back for a while because I'm working. So like I'm like kind of in the back of my head, like who died? Who's Darlene? Like I'm thinking through all of my family members that I know, all of my extended family. I get done, I see that text message, and I text her back, and I was like, okay, but you didn't answer my question. Who's Darlene? She goes, oh, that was one of the cows, and the calf was she died in childbirth. And the calf died. It was really gross. She sent me some pictures. And it's like
Meat's
like
back on the menu.
like a dead, like a CSI, for cows. And I text her,
Dunk dunk.
I text her back, and I said, "Oh, I was really worried. I thought it was like somebody, like an actual family member who died." And she was like, "No, it's just really sad. The cows died, and this was only her second year having, like all of this like farm stuff." That I won't bore you with. I would punch this stuff up somehow for the joke in my stand-up routine. And then she finishes, I text her back, and all I say is, so does that mean we're gonna get another couple 100 pounds of ground beef? She texted me back and she said, shut up. So I'm gonna take that as a no. But I just
At least
like
with
it was
that attitude.
it was one of those things. It's like, you lead with like the vague piece of information. There's a death in the family today. I'm like, who? What? And it's like it's some lady's name who I don't know, but I mean, we've got a big family. Most of them suck, and I don't know them at all or very well. So, it's plausible to me that a family member died who I didn't know. And like the story escalates, like, oh, she died in childbirth, like, and the baby's dead too. And it's like, holy fuck, what? Oh, it's a cow. And I can't have any ground beef? Well, this sucks.
I mean, what are they going to do with it otherwise, right?
I don't think that it can be just, I mean, I grew up on a farm. I've experienced this before. Usually when that happens, things get ruptured inside the body and it spoils any potential meat. I mean, you might be able to clean and recover it, but it's like a huge undertaking.
Okay.
I won't go into any more details than that, but yeah, the pictures were not good. They were gross. I haven't had to experience any of that stuff firsthand in, I don't know, 10 years maybe? No, longer than that. I'm in my 30s now. Maybe closer to 15 years. Usually I don't hear about
you're getting
with the
old
animals anymore. I know, right? Middle-aged. Great. Love it. My other story today is a client story. So I might, because I never can remember which clients I have talked about a little bit and which ones I haven't. This is a client who has severe schizophrenia. That is pretty well managed by the medication that she takes, and the therapy is more of a like, let's check in, see how she's doing, monitoring for some of those, additional monitoring for some of the really bad symptoms or side effects that might come with taking the medication. And so, the therapy, honestly, I don't expect to ever help her all that much. I mean, maybe anything could happen, like medicine might find like, a better combination of drugs for her, or she might really stabilize and, be able to actually tell when she's having delusions and hallucinations and when she's not. But at this point, she's kind of in and out of, reality.
Mm-hmm.
This is, if I've talked about her, she's the lady who burned down her house because the devil possessed it.
I don't recall that one.
Okay. Yeah, she actually burned down her own house because the devil was living there, like came to reside in her house.
Okay, so question: was the devil helping out with the bills? Helping with the rent. Maybe covering a couple of bills. Maybe the heating bill, because I would imagine the devil would want that temperature way up on the thermostat.
To my knowledge, no. According to her, she had no power. She had no running water because she couldn't pay her bills. But it was like a house that she owned, and didn't owe any money against it. So the bank couldn't come take it. They just cut her off from her utilities. So if Satan was paying for something, it wasn't power or water. He might have been buying firewood or kindling. But yeah, she had to get Satan out, so she burned the house down. So anyways, yes. So she's in there. She's talking to me about some stuff. And sometimes it's hard to tell when she's being really genuine and like actually talking about her history or drifting off into some kind of a delusion. And she's talking. And then she's like, yeah, I must just be like this huge burden to you. I must just be so burdensome talking about all this
you're
stuff.
A client.
I told her, I was like, well, ultimately, I can't tell you what to think because you're the one who has to decide. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm going to say to you because you have to decide the way that you think or feel. But to help you think about it that way, like, this is literally my job to sit here and talk to you. Like, I'm getting paid right now to sit here and talk to you and listen to you tell me stories and talk to me about, Satan in your house and the voices of your supposedly, dead neighbors. Like, I'm getting paid to do this.
Are the neighbors actually dead, or?
I don't think so. From what I understand, the neighbors were not dead. There was someone who
just
had
a little
died.
bit on the inside, right?
Right. Well, that's all of us, isn't it? But like, there was a neighbor who had died. Like, he had cancer or something. There was a couple that lived next to them, and at least this is all according to her. He died from cancer, and she could hear his voice telling her to do things. And then Satan moved into the house, and it's just a real big mess.
And he just kept, leaving like the milk out on the counter,
Yeah. But so, I tell her this stuff, and, like, it's literally my job to listen to you talk to me. And she goes, huh, so you're like Jesus then? I said,
what?
Nope. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, it was Jesus's job to listen to people talk. It was Jesus's job to take their burdens. It says in the song, she like rattled off some hymn that I remember from like when I used to go to church. It was like, she was like, yeah, it says in such and such song, like, that Jesus says to take my yoke upon, or I'm going to take your yoke upon me. And, then you'll have it easy. Like, so you're going to take all this stuff away from me. You're like Jesus. And in my head, I'm like, oh no, nope. I don't want to be associated with Jesus. So I'm like, no, not like Jesus. I'm not like Jesus. Jesus didn't get paid for his work. And she said, well, I mean, he gets paid with like glory in heaven. So you're like Jesus. And
no. Well, first of all, wasn't that born into it? So that's more inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the big guy finally kicks off at the end of the universe, right?
Yeah. But so my biggest thing is like, I do not want this lady having delusions or hallucinations about the fact that I am Jesus. I don't want to deal with that.
Fact that you have the hair.
Yeah. I had my hair down today. And she does go, she's like, you've even got his hair.
No. It's like Buddha ate Jesus.
I'm fat Jesus, y'all. But no, I don't want this lady hallucinating or having delusions that I'm Jesus. We don't need that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have
Plus, you
to
would look horrible in a robe.
I would be comfy though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the abs, so yeah, the crucifix would be just terrible.
That's true. But yeah, she's like, so you're Jesus then? You're like Jesus. I'm like, no, I am not. I'm definitely not like Jesus. But yeah,
Some of the stuff that you've done, whew.
Yeah. Some of the things that I've shoved in my butt. Jesus didn't do that. I don't know. Like maybe
if Jesus turned water to wine, then just drink it all.
Right. But, you can't reason with a delusional person. Like,
or highly religious.
I mean, I said delusional.
True, but not all of them are that way. I mean, a lot of them are.
Right.
But have you ever noticed that if somebody's talking to the devil, they're crazy. If they're talking to Jesus, well, yeah, that's perfectly normal.
Right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But when I was back in school, I had a client who was schizophrenic, and he thought that he was dead. I'm not. He wasn't like a zombie.
Oh,
he was
damn.
just dead.
I was about to ask if he was a zombie.
No, because I asked him, I was like, wait, so you're saying you're a zombie? He's like, no, I'm not a zombie. I'm just dead. I'm kind of like a mummy that they haven't wrapped in toilet paper, is what he told me. And I said, okay. And, I'm talking to him about all this stuff, and I'm like, so what does it mean that you're dead?
I mean, I bet he would be really upset about the toilet paper shortage.
Right. This was years ago. But, I was like, so what does it mean that you're dead? And he listed off a few things. And one of the things is like, well, my heart doesn't beat, so I don't bleed if I get hurt. If I get cut, I don't bleed, I don't bruise. Like, okay. So then he comes back to another session. He's got a Band-Aid on his finger. I was like, oh, what's that? You got a Band-Aid on your finger? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, so they put a Band-Aid on. Like, you got a cut, so that must mean that you bled. So does that mean that you're not dead? And he looks at his finger, and he looks at me, and he goes, I guess dead things can bleed. It's like you can't reason someone out of a delusion, because they will just, there is, like, it's not even mental gymnastics. It's like that thing just becomes true. It's like, oh, I am dead, and I just learned that I bleed, so I guess dead things bleed. Like, that's, that's the way that they process information when they're in active delusions.
Ooh.
What?
I mean, just, a lot of things I see on Facebook now suddenly make a lot more sense.
Yep.
Well, sense to me, them being that crazy, but
yeah.
Have you ever heard the idea that in other cultures, people that hear voices through schizophrenia actually hear positive things?
No, I've never heard that before.
I keep seeing this pop up from time to time on Today I Learned and things like that on Reddit. That in some African cultures, in Middle Eastern cultures, whenever somebody has schizophrenia, it's the exact opposite of what people in North America experience. The negative voice. Instead, it's a positive voice, like telling them jokes and that sort of thing.
That makes sense, honestly. Like, generally, people who are schizophrenic or have delusions have them based around things that they know. Not necessarily, like, true things, but it's like the things that they know influence the delusions. And so people who have, like, delusion, in America, people who have schizophrenia and who have religious delusions as part of it have religions about Jesus and Satan and whatever. But if you go to the Middle East or anywhere that has a really high Muslim population, they will have delusions about Allah. And it's like, they're same sort of idea of like religious delusions of grandeur or whatever. I spoke to God, I'm a great prophet, but it's like in America where it's predominantly Christian, it's a Christian God. But you get the same sorts of things in other parts of the country or in other parts of the world. It might be, Allah
I just dropped a link to you.
But a lot of African cultures and really indigenous cultures, like all over the world, have history of like spirit worship or like integrating spirituality.
It looks like it's Africa and India. They're more benign or positive.
Yeah. And I could see that because those cultures have a long history of like, having helpful spirits and the spirits of your ancestors come and lead and guide you, like that makes sense because the delusions would be influenced by their culture and their history and what they knew.
Yeah, I just threw you a couple links that might be interesting about it.
Yeah, I will look into that later. I've never read any, well, I've read some stuff about it, but this is kind of like from my abnormal psychology class. Like
Hmm.
the one study that we read about this was like, yeah, delusions are influenced by what a person knows and what they're exposed to. And although there's a lot of gray area, like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, people are being attacked and chased by shadowy figures and stuff like that. But there's some that like have become so big in myth that they sort of cross cultural boundaries. Like the CIA, you'll find people all around the world that think that they're being chased by the CIA. Because, I mean, the CIA certainly is a powerful government entity, like yada yada, blah, blah, blah. But, the CIA, there's no way that any entity has the resources to monitor every single person on the planet at all times. Like, if that was
Well, that's what
true,
the
I'd be in
algorithm's for.
fucking jail by now. Like, but people will say like in all cultures, like, oh, the CIA is watching and they have agents tailing me if they have these delusions of persecution and grandeur, because the CIA is like this huge, like mythical figure in pop culture around the world.
Or they fall under the Truman Show dilemma, where they think everything is about them, where they're living in a television show, essentially.
Yeah.
And it just the CIA is the or FBI or whatever is the audience.
Yeah. I had a client today that made a joke, and I had a thought about Truman Show. At least I think it was a joke. You never can tell with some of the more delusional ones.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, yeah, it's his name's Greg, and he's like, oh yeah, that's how it is here in Greg's world. And I'm like, are you doing like a Truman Show gag, or are you like, I don't know. His session was over, and I had 9 people on my schedule today.
Mm-hmm.
So like his session was over, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ask about this today. I'm just going to let it go.
Well, for now.
For now, it'll come back up later. But yeah, those are my 2 stories, along with, I guess, a tangent.
Yeah,
Tangents, though. What else is
some
new?
interesting cultural information, perhaps.
Yeah, I will.
I mean, at least I found some supporting evidence on top of it's all online.
Yeah.
That makes me at least somewhat better than some of the shit I see around.
Right. I do actually have one guy that I work with who has mild, I would think of as mild schizophrenia, who does hear some voices,
Mm-hmm.
but his voice is like a pimp that he hears, and his pimp, like, I mean, like stereotypical, like black, pimp, like dressed like all crazy and like furs and stuff. You hear him talk about his pimp.
Yeah, I remember this character from Saints Row.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But his pimp is like really supportive most of the time, and he tells me he's like, nah. He's like, nah, man, you got this. You're good. You're smart. I mean, you're not as smart as me, but you're still smart. You're smarter than these other cats. You can figure it out. I'm like, oh,
Well, it's me, but all right.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, at least he's not telling you to like hurt other people or hurt yourself. Like, he's telling you to just try a little harder and you can solve your problems. I can get behind that. So, anyways, you ready to go do a show?
I guess. I mean, we could just sit here and talk about imaginary pimps, but
I mean, we could. Dude, I have stories. I have so many stories. And, I've told you a handful of stories over the years. I have so many. I'm starting a book. Like, I've been collecting notes for, years. Like, I've been practicing professionally. I'm in my 6th year practicing professionally, plus my time in school. Like, and I've just, like, collected people's stories and notes on certain clients.
So is this going to be the small book of crazy?
Yeah, the little book of crazy. I don't expect to like make like a ton of money on this. I mean, it would be nice, but it's just like, I have all these stories sort of rattling around in my brain, and it's sort of a catharsis. I've told myself for years, once I collected enough stories, I was going to write a book, and I've got dozens. Let's see, my Google Doc has got, let me open this up here. It's over 100 pages. I know that.
Well, why not just get a computer to write it for you?
Touche. It's got 100. My Google Doc has got 186 pages of client notes and stories and things. Um, so, anyways, yeah, I've got a lot of stories. Some funny, some sad, some infuriating, some that are just like odd. I don't know.
And a
I've
lot
got
of Jesus.
there's a lot of Jesus in here. A lot of people who have religious stuff. Sorting back through it and cataloging it and inventorying everything is kind of where I'm starting at. And yeah, there's plenty of religious trauma in here, and then religious delusions, and the occasional good story of someone who's got like a healthy, relationship with their religious beliefs, and that it's like helpful and healthful to them. But that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I was about to say, right?
Yep.
And it's
So
also just amazing how, you know, God always has exactly their opinion as well, right?
I've got the section for clients who have died. That one bums me out. Oh, there's a yawn.
So I'm gonna share this with you real quick.
Okay.
I still have Brutal Moose. I want you to see this.
Okay.
Watch like the first, or if you want to watch it together, right?
Yeah, let's see. Let me get back over here to the Discord or our whatever, our private chat.
Oh my.
Brutal Moose.
Yeah, I'm at 1 second.
Okay.
So just tell me when.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
I mean, even on just the intro, like I like this guy.
I mean, he has this weird thing going on.
Yeah. Pajama Sam.
I thought you'd like him.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit pause. I'll probably watch all of this later, but
Yeah, and he does like frozen food reviews, and he did a review on Twilight.
yeah.
And one of the favorite things that Nia and I watch that he does is he gets mystery tapes, just random VHS tapes from like Goodwills and that sort of thing, and watches what's on them, and shares comments on like the old commercials and that sort of thing.
Oh, I love that. That's a red letter media does that.
Yeah, if you go into his videos, click which ranch dip is the sheriff of Mouthtown, and just watch the intro to that one.
I will do that later. I subscribe to his YouTube channel, so
Let's just put it this way: he goes all in on most of his videos, and he also has some of the best ad reads on YouTube for his sponsors. It's rare that I don't at least zone out. He gets a little psychedelic with his ad reads.
right. All right. I'll look forward to checking out his YouTube channel. Maybe that's what I'll do at work tomorrow. Watch some of that.
Yeah, I would say the ranch review is up there. Go check that one out.
Okay.
And let me know what you think.
I will watch that tomorrow. Then, what'd you say the title of it was? Which flavor of ranch is the king of Mouthtown?
Which ranch dip is the sheriff of Mouthtown?
Sheriff of Mouthtown.
It was from 6 months ago.
Okay. I just went in and hit, watch later on it. My watch later list is manageable compared to some of the other lists I've created, but watch later is manageable.
Yeah, my watch later list is like 1,000 videos long.
Yeah, mine's not that long. I think it's got 28 videos on it, and some of those like that just serves as like a parking space for them whenever I want to show them to somebody or go back and like listen to a certain specific song or something. I just park it and watch later.
He's sort of like a good example, thinking about it a little bit more. He's sort of like how You Suck at Cooking spends a lot of time editing to make something look kind of shitty.
Yeah.
He's like that. That makes any sense.
Yeah. You suck at cooking. Yeah, you totally suck.
Did you see his latest video?
No, I'm not subscribed to the channel anymore.
Oh, blasphemy! Shun the non-believer. He did a. This is not carbonara.
Oh no! My God! Oh, there we go. It's all out. I exorcised the demon. For now,
Okay, fat Jesus.
he'll he'll be back later.
And say goodbye.
Indeed. Bye bye. Number 2.